So let's switch over now as we look at the side-by-side here of light crude. Where we're looking at cyclical analysis. The brackets on the bottom that you see right in here are simply our guides for the movement in the market, where we see that there are money flows that show up in the charts, and that's what cycle analysis is. So we do the cycle analysis. We look at support, resistance, extension zones, using swing high, swing low analysis and other tools. And that often gives us buy and sell areas also, and targeting areas. So that's really what we look at. Let's take a look at light crude as we will blow this up, and then in the products we'll stay on the side-by-side. So you can see the two big cycles that you see in there. And these are actually three minor cycles of the big harmonic family that you see right there. If I blow this out, you see that last harmonic family where there were three cycles in there. So what that points to is, I look at this right here, that's October 10th as some big corrective low that we're looking at. Now, when I look at the minor cycle here, of course, that lines up to October 10th. So what that says is that because this was such a big, long upward move, that after some modest correction right in here, which takes you to 56, maybe down to 52, then you get another rally out over here to new highs. This fib extension level is around $66. All of these resistances over here were in the $64 to $66 area. So that seems like a reasonable expectation for some time out in the late spring or summer before we get into a bigger corrective period. Now, in my year-end analysis, we thought that oil would make it up to $60 area. It's done better than that. And that's probably going to raise our downside target, which was in the 30s. For this corrective period. The only way we're getting into the 30s is if this inflationary burst that we're in disappears and we get much more into deflation, and that would change the environment and everything that we're looking at. So right now we're expecting to upgrade our longer term perspective in the oil market. A lot of this was getting helped, or is getting helped, by the increased expectation for growth. Whereas now they're talking about 5% GDP this year, so that's helping this market. Also, the amount of money that is being printed and the expectation for not only the stimulus program, but also for the Fed, which has $1.6 trillion in their treasury, releasing some of those funds. Nobody knows where they're going to go, and that could create havoc in the short-term market. And so all of that liquidity is lifting all of these commodity markets, and that's helping this oil market. So we really expect that the worst case is maybe down to this 56 level in April, in some correction, and then beginning to move up again. This is the look at the short-term patterns right in here. And you see we're only 3 days into this rising phase in this cycle. It probably has more to go. And then you can see this upward channel and that the upward directional component and the upward momentum that you see in here has all been creating these positively configured cycles. Very small declines in these swamped, invisible areas for the cycle patterns in there. And lots of you have taken our cycle analysis workshop, so you'll understand how the principle of summation is working in here, where the price is the sum of all the components, and all of these components have been bullish. And as long as you're getting these upward cycles and swamped conditions, it is telling you that the upward energy is so strong it does not allow significant corrections, and you have no better way to understand an upward trend and an extension of an upward trend other than what I just said. You get some help from the slim ribbon PO right in here that has been green this whole time and giving you all of these signals. Every time you see an arrow, it simply says there's been an internal correction and that it is likely that the momentum will continue. And you can see each time you see that, we get upward movements in here, and just had this one right over here. So powerful information out of the slim ribbon PO. And that is, I think, a picture of a lot of bullishness that we've had and a lot of upward momentum that continues. The fact that Saudi said that they now can produce Another billion barrels a day has not affected this market at all. It like had a downtick for an hour on that, but no more than that.